Caged Minds, Micah Frankel. And today we are lucky enough to be joined by Six Guns, Brandon Gibson, striking coach extraordinaire. Sir, thank you for the time. First off, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. It's a beautiful day here in New Mexico.
It's a beautiful day, and man, I couldn't be more excited. Jon Jones is returning to the octagon. What was it like for you and the team when this became official? Because we know that with Jon in the UFC, contract negotiations and conversations were ongoing for a long time.
This has been the longest camp we've ever done, and this is the longest camp I've done with any fighter. We've been in this for 3 years since the Dominic Reyes fight, and chipping away. And there was elements and times where we felt like maybe we were 5 weeks away from a potential fight. Um, there's been elements of a roller coaster at times. We thought we were going to fight last July, then maybe September, then December, but here we are, close to a week away from Jon fighting for the undisputed heavyweight title of the world against Cyril Gahn. Like we are excited, and it was something that we were like eagerly anticipating getting the word for this fight, getting a contract signed, getting a date confirmed and set. And we're not quite there yet, but we're closer than we've ever been. So we're excited, but overall the mood of the team is just ultra focused. This is the biggest fight, the biggest task we've ever taken on. And we really did need these 3 years to transform this team, for Jon to kind of build his body and his skill set at the new weight, and just really get that drive and fire and determination to take on this goal.
Okay, I wasn't going to beat you up too much, but I do need to pull back the curtain a little bit. When was the official thought from the team that Jon's going to heavyweight? Because we knew for a while there was speculation. Is the Jan Blachowicz knockout in front of Jon in Rio Rancho in his training state, was that enough to lure him back to 205? When were you guys in the process fully committed to heavyweight transition?
I really think after the Dominic Reyes fight, that was always the goal. Um, Jon even did some interviews recently where he had lost some of that fire competing at light heavyweight, and he really wanted to be scared. He wanted to fight that makes the hair stand up on his arms. And there's a lot of guys at heavyweight that can do that. And there was not much else to accomplish at light heavyweight. He had 15 titles there. I think he was ready for the new goals. So after the Dominic Reyes fight, I think we really were like fully committed towards heavyweight as the path.
And what did you feel when Jon tells you this? What did you feel was going to be most crucial to him and had to evolve or change the most for him to make that functional change up to heavyweight?
For a lot of the lighter weight classes, going up 10 pounds doesn't really change your body that drastically. But light heavyweight to heavyweight's the biggest change, and Jon's put on close to 50 pounds of muscle throughout this process. And, to do it right, to do it where, you're still fast, you're still dangerous, you're still able to apply all of your amazing moves and techniques with the stamina. And I think we really found that balance. And we did really need that 3 years to find that, because there was times he was maybe a little heavier and not what we were looking for as far as MMA went. And then there's times he was a little lighter. It was the same thing. So I think we have it so dialed in now that fans are going to see the best Jon Jones ever on March 4th.
And I don't want you to put words in Jon's mouth, but for you guys, for everybody that's there as a team, all those different experiments, was it a little maddening to not be able to get into the octagon and really put Jon to use, let him get out there and fully show what he was capable of at that time?
I think so. We're all competitors, and we've had years where Jon fought 3 to 4 times in a calendar year. But we knew that this was the right path. And you look at there's a lot of greats that have had long layoffs and came back and did it right. And MMA is so dynamic. It's not like a Muhammad Ali layoff and then he came back. There's so much more to it. But March 4th, the proof will be in the pudding. Obviously, I think there was a lot of times I wish we could have gotten in there and competed earlier, but this is God's plan. Everything's worked out perfectly for us to be where we're at and be the men, the coaches, the fighters that we were all supposed to be to achieve this goal. So, I'm not looking back with any regrets. I'm so focused and confident and excited for March 4th.
What was the procedure like putting together this camp? We've seen the recent photos on social media. There's like 15 guys. I'd say half of them are coaches and an array of heavyweights. So, how delicate was it putting together the right cast for this team?
It's not easy to find heavyweights. It's not easy to find heavyweights that are at the UFC caliber to help us really prepare for a fight of this magnitude. And it's not easy to find heavyweights that are committed towards being a part of this team and this goal. Um, it's also an element like early on in this 3 year camp at the start, it was a lot of coaches with one or two or three training partners that were super dedicated. And, that takes us back to like COVID times when we were just training out of John's garage. So to see it build to the room we had last night for the last night of camp, um, it's just humbling. It really is like to see these guys come together. And it wasn't just a camp, it wasn't just a team, it was a true brotherhood. And I think that bond and that connection between these teammates is something really special. And it's a camp that I know I myself will never forget. And I know John feels the same way. And they had a lot of chapters along these last 3 years to kind of get to what we've built now. And a big part of that is, we took a trip a year ago to go to Boston and we worked with Tom Egan, who's an amazing UFC veteran, coach to Conor McGregor. He's one that really kind of opened a door and helped build a bridge for us to go up there as a team. And that's where we met Jorgen De Castro, Domingo Barros, Mike Rodriguez, and Tom Egan as a coach. And those four men have been just instrumental in helping us to get to where we are now, having a camp here in Albuquerque with such great training partners. And we've added Walt Harris along the way. Even Henry Cejudo came out last night to watch the last practice. And then we've had a lot of really core guys like Maurice Green, Jaime Romo, um, Enrique from Gracie Baja, Big Leo, undefeated pro boxer. So many guys here from Albuquerque and from around the country really came and helped give John the best look possible every night. So I'm grateful to all those training partners.
As long as you've been around the gym and you've seen this before, did you in that building throughout some of this camp get some of those old feelings almost to like the GSP days where you'd have all these coaches, all these people coming together and it was a melting pot in there?
Yeah, that Jackson Zakima is a special place to all of us. That was the place where I first met John in 2009. Um, and it does have this just gritty element of hard work. I think we have a lot of real special memories there from when we were young, and now we've spent the last 2 years making really special memories in its current state. And big shout out to Nick Urso for kind of opening the doors of that gym to us when we were just training in garages. And um, it is a special place, and we won a lot of gold out of that building, and we're gonna win some more.
People are hungry to know, and I'm not even sure how much you could tell us without giving something away, but how different of an athlete is Jon Jones now as a heavyweight?
As an athlete, I mean, it's incredible, like how fast he is, how explosive he is, how strong he is, and even more so as a martial artist. Like he's already, one of the most dynamic champions of all time. His skill set is unbelievable. And in these last 3 years, he has added so much to his game. And I don't know if he'll get to show some of it or all of it on March 4th, but it just blows me away. It blows me away how skilled and talented he is.
I said I wasn't going to keep you for long, coach. Just got a couple more as we're now talking about fight week, the fight coming up. How difficult of an opponent is Surreal Gone for you guys to prepare for?
Surreal is he's a great heavyweight. He's athletic. He's has outstanding striking. He's very skilled in both stances, and he's game. He's been in there with some of the best at heavyweight. But I believe one of our biggest advantages is just John's IQ, John's championship experience, the number of rounds he's spent in that octagon, and competing at the highest level now for 13 years. So, Surreal brings a lot to the table, and we've been working very hard and taking this fight very seriously because he's a finisher. Um, but I have no doubt that Jon Jones is going to get his hand raised because Jon is the greatest fighter of all time, and we're going to show that on March 4th.
On Surreal Gone, I feel like out of the guys that you have prepared for with Jon, Surreal does understand distance management probably the best of any of those competitors.
He does control the range very well. He's great at his offensive range. He's great at his defensive range and his angles. He has outstanding footwork. So that's going to be, one of the real challenges come fight night is how can Jon pressure? How can Jon cut that range away? And what we do when Surreal is on his offense. So, I don't want to go too much into the game plan and the details, but Surreal really does have outstanding footwork. But like Jon said the other week, we've gone against some of the best strikers in the history of the sport, some of the pound for pound greats. And I don't think Surreal Gone is faster than Lyoto Machida. I don't think he's more powerful than Rampage Jackson. I don't think he's more explosive than Rashad Evans. So Jon's been in there with some of the best, and I actually think all of his years at light heavyweight and the speed associated with that weight class have really prepared him to shine even more at heavyweight.
What do you think next week looks like, and how is that going to feel for you guys as a team? Just fight week. It's been 3 years.
Which is exciting. We've done a lot, and Jon and I went to New York last weekend, and it just took us back to the old days of doing some big media before a big fight. And we're all just looking forward to having fun, enjoying the process. And I I know this isn't Jon's last fight, but I just try to bring that same focus and gratitude and intensity that it was, because nothing's guaranteed in life. So I think as I've matured in this game and gotten a little older, and we've had this layoff and this break, that I'm just appreciating every moment of this so much more. I don't take any of it for granted, and I've really enjoyed this camp. It's the best camp I've ever been a part of, and I'm really looking forward to fight week. And like I said, just enjoying every step of the process.
I'll be out there to see it live and in person. Everybody, the greatest fighter of all time is moving up to heavyweight to solidify that legacy. UFC 285 is next weekend. Brandon, thank you for the time.
I'm excited, and we're going to represent New Mexico the best we can. We're going to bring another gold belt back home. So thanks to everybody in Albuquerque. Thank you, Micah, and thank you, New Mexico.